Namaskara everyone, welcome to today's masterclass on the overview of Vedic scriptures. During this session, we will explore the Vedas. The Vedas are the oldest religious texts known to humanity. They are divine revelations and are revered by millions around the world. So let's begin. The Sanskrit verbal root Veda means knowledge. Vedas were passed down through an oral tradition for generations before being recorded in the written form by sage Vyasa. And that was done at the end of Dwapara Yuga. Originally, there was only one Veda, Yajur Veda. Sage Vyasa Deva arranged it into four. Rig, Sam, Atharva and Itihasa Puranas were also divided from the same Veda. Sage Veda Vyasa then taught different branches to his disciples Paila, Jaimini, Sumantu, Vaishampayan and Romaharshana. As it is said in Bhagavad Purana, Tad Rig Veda Dharo Pailaha Samago Jaimini Kavihi Vaishampayana Aivaiko Nishnato Yajushammutaha. After the Vedas were divided into four divisions, Paila Rishi became the professor of Rig Veda, Jaimini professor of Sam Veda, and the Vaishampayan alone became glorified by Yajur Veda. Atharvangira Samasit Sumanturdaruna Munihe Itihasa Purana Nam Pita Mero Maharshana. The Rishi in the family lineage of Angira, known as Sumantu Muni, was given the responsibility of Atharva Veda, and Romaharshana was given responsibility of Puranas and historical records, also known as Itihasas. All these learned scholars faithfully rendered their entrusted Vedas into many branches and disciples and grand disciples and great grand disciples, and thus respective branches of the followers of Vedas came into being. There were more than 1,000 branches known as Shakas, 1130 to be precise. We have discussed all Shakas in great detail in other video. We'll link it in the description. Each of the four Veda consists of four parts again. The mantra part, which is also known as Samhita, which we'll later discuss into this video in detail. The Brahmana consists of explanation of rituals. Then comes Aranyaka, the philosophical interpretations of the rituals to be performed in the forest. They are useful for the people entering into Vanaprastha ashram, the Vedic way of retirement. And lastly, the most important is the Upanishads part, the essence of the Vedic knowledge and the knowledge portion of Vedas. The subject matter of whole Vedas again can be divided into three sections, known as Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and the third one is Upasana Kanda. The Karma Kanda portion stresses on the execution of fruitive activities, but ultimately it is advised that one abandon all the Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda and this kind of speculative knowledge and accept only Upasana Kanda. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature. Naishkarmyamapyachyuta bhava vajyatam nashobhate jnanam alam niranjanam Kutah punah shashvata bhadrayam ishvare nacharpitam karma tad apyakaram. The knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material affinity, doesn't look well if devoid of a conception of infallible God. What is the use of fruitive activities which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature if they are not utilized in the worship of Supreme God? Now let's discuss each Veda in little detail. Let's start with Rig Veda. We have discussed earlier there are four parts of each Veda. So Rig Veda has Samhita, which is the first part. The Rig Veda Samhita is the core text and is collection of 10 books known as Mandala, with the 1,000 odd hymns, also known as Suktas, in about 10,600 verses, also known as Rigs. There are many more branches which were there, which are now lost. The Rig Veda Samhita comprises of verses known as Rigs, is entirely dedicated to the praising of deities. The term Rig itself means the praise. Within the Rig Veda Samhita, there are approximately 10,600 mantras divided into 10 books known as mandalas. Each mandala is further subdivided into sections called Anuvaka. Each Anuvaka contains a collection of hymns known as Sukta. Additionally, each Sukta contains multiple verses called Rigs. Some of the important Suktas in Rig Veda are Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta is a praise of great god of Veda known as Vishnu or Narayana. One more is Hiranyagarbha Sukta. It is one of the important Suktas of Rig Veda describing the creation of worlds from a golden egg known as Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is Prajapati himself, who is none other than Brahma. He take birth from Narayana resting in the Karana ocean or known as casual ocean. Also, one more is Nasadiya Sukta. Nasadiya Sukta deals with the origin of universe and creation. And then comes Brahmanas. There are three very popular Brahmanas in the Rig Veda lineage. Aitariya Brahmana belonging to Shakala Shaka, Kaushtuki Brahmana belonging to Bashkal Shaka, also known as Shankayana Shaka. There are also three Aranyakas which are very popular. Aitariya Aranyaka belonging to Shakala Shaka, and again Kaushtuki Aranyaka belonging to Bashkal Shaka or Shankayana Shaka. Rig Veda has many Upanishads. Some of the popular ones are Aitariya, Kaushtuki Upanishad, Krishna Upanishad, Atma Bodha Upanishad, Mugdal Upanishad, Nirvana Upanishad, Ashtamalika Upanishad, Nadabindo Upanishad. We will discuss them in detail in another session. Now, next we will talk about Sam Veda. Sam Veda in its present form is the shortest of four Vedas. As mentioned by Patanjali, a great grammarian and a yoga teacher, Sam Veda had about 1000 branches, of which only 3 exist. Kaustuma branch, the Jaiminiya branch, and Rana-Aniya branch. Traditionally, 3 Vedas are known as Trayi because they have 3 kind of mantras: Rig verse or Sam chants and Yajur prose. Sam Veda consists of melodious chants. Sam Veda is most important among the Vedas, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedanam Sam Vedoham. Now coming to Sam Veda Samhita. Sam Veda Samhita consists about 1800 verses. Presently Samhita mostly shares its verses with Rig Veda. Since lost many of the branches, we don't know how many verses Sam Veda had originally. Sam Veda has Brahmana and Aranyaka for each shaka. Several Upanishads are also present in the Sam Veda tradition. The popular ones are Chandogya, Kena, Savitri, Aruni, Jabali Upanishads are present in the Sam Veda tradition. Well, this was about Sam Veda. Now let's explore Yajur Veda. Unlike Rig Veda and Sam Veda, Yajur Veda is not written in the form of poetry, and it is said Gadyatmakaha Yajuhu. Yajur Veda talks about Yajna. Yajur Veda has 2 popular branches, Shukla Yajur Veda and Krishna Yajur Veda. Both Shukla and Krishna Yajur Veda had several branches, out of which popular ones are even present today. The Shukla Yajur Veda has 2 Samhitas known to us, Madhyandina and Kanva Samhita. Krishna Yajur Veda has 4, Taittiriya, Katha, Kapisthala and Maitrayani. In Shukla Yajur Veda Samhita, also known as Vajayaseni, we find description about various Vedic yajnas like Ashwamedha, Vajapeya. It is also described that very famous Ishopanishad is also in the same branch. Shatapatha Brahmana is one of the popular Brahmana in Yajur Vedic traditions. It describes procedures of several Vedic yajnas. There are several Upanishads in these traditions like Taittiriya, Katha, Shvetashvatara, Narayana Upanishad, Kali Santarana Upanishad and many others which are found in Krishna Yajur Veda. And then Brihadaranyaka, Ishopanishad and several others can be found in Shukla Yajur Veda. This was about Yajur Veda, and if you made it till here, we will take you to the journey of Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda contains various topics. This Veda is Veda of varied knowledge. It is kind of Vedic encyclopedia. Patanjali mentions about 9 shakas, out of which only 2 survived, Shaunaka and Pippalada. Atharva Veda Samhita has about 6,000 verses. It has 20 books known as Skanda. The popular Brahmana in the tradition of Atharva Veda is Gopatha Brahmana, which describes rituals associated with Atharva Veda. Prashna Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad are popular Upanishads related to the Atharva Veda. This was a short presentation on the overview of Vedic scriptures. We covered 4 popular Vedas, and in this session, in upcoming session, we will be discussing about depth in Vedic scriptures. Thank you for being with us. Consider subscribing if you like the content.
Om Sham no Mitra Sham Varunaha Sham no Bhavadaryama Sham no Indro Brahaspatihe Sham no Vishnur Urukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।